Okay, hey guys, it's Lisa with the Cameo Beginners Newbie Hangout. I'm going to do a video on, it's going to be a small video on tracing, and then I will take you on a video, another part, which would be like a part 2 on how to do editing points a lot. I'm going to start very basic. I used to teach, well, we still kind of teach classes a couple times a year on how to use the Cameo up in Columbus, and the basic one that I taught them is how to do a black dress. Now, I'm going to show you how you go out and find what you're looking for. If you have design editions, it's a lot easier because you can just copy and paste things in. So we're going to go to our Internet Explorer, go to Google, and I'm going to type in little black dress vector. Now the reason why I tell you to choose vectors are they typically are a lot easier to use in Silhouette. They don't have a lot of jagged edges on them, that kind of thing, and you can typically find more what you're looking for. I always click images. So here's my black dress, and you guys can do this. You can follow along yourself. If you type in little black dress vector, this is the one you should find. So I'm going to click on it once. Now I have something on my screen called the Snipping Tool. You can probably see that it's highlighted down there. I really suggest that you pin that to your toolbar. You're just simply going to go to your Windows button, right click and search, and you can search for your snipping tool here. Okay, when it pops up here, right click and pin it to your taskbar. Okay, mine's already pinned. That's why it says to unpin, so pin it to your taskbar. It's going to save you a lot of headache. So Internet Explorer, click on your dress, click on your snipping tool, and you're going to go to New. This is where it's cool about having Design Edition. So I'm just simply going to select what I want. Okay. When you get to this window, you right-click, copy, click on your Silhouette software, right-click, and paste. It saves you that much time of having to go and find things and save the JPEG and import it in. Only if you have Design Edition or the Business Edition. Okay? All right. So for me to trace, okay, we're going to go over here to the butterfly. Also looks like jelly toast to me. Click on it. You select your trace area. So this you cannot do anything with until you trace it. Basically, it's just like a piece of paper laying on the table. Okay? A blank sheet of paper. So there's nothing I can do with it. So now I need to make it more lifelike. So we're going to select our trace area, and you simply do that by left click. And I use you can do your mouse, or you can use your little pad on your touchpad on your laptop. You left click and you just draw a circle around it, or just highlight the area you want. Now, see how this lights up? If I click trace now, which I will, this is an example. When you go to cut this out, it's going to cut out a double line. I'll go to my paint bucket and fill this in. This is not going to give me this image that I want. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. So where do we go? We go to our piece of toast or our butterfly, select the trace area, like so. This is where this high pass filter comes into play. You uncheck this box, and when it fills in yellow, that means it's only going to cut the outline. It's going to be the full dress when you cut it out. Okay? Low pass filter really doesn't do a whole lot in here. Basically, it just adjusts how much we're going to fill that area in. I can do less or more. I don't want that. I'll take that off. Threshold we won't worry about right now. Threshold, basically, if you look at the edges of the dress, it'll kind of make it a little bit smoother so it's not so jagged. The scale just kind of makes it a little more, well, it's not really scaly looking, pixelized. A lot of times when you have pictures and they're pixelated, that's what that'll do. I usually leave that button alone. Then you just simply hit trace. There's 3 different options. Trace, which means it's going to trace the outside of this dress or whatever I have there. Trace just the outer edge. So if I had a bunch of things on the inside, it would just do the out. You can do trace and detach. So if you had a bunch of things in there you trace together, you can detach it. We're just going to worry about the trace button. So I'm very visual. So anytime you trace anything, go in and fill it in, because that's going to show you exactly how that's going to trace. always go to your paint bucket. Maybe we want to have, so you see the difference now when I go to cut this out, it cuts all the way around versus this gets cut and this side gets cut. So basically it'll pull the center out of the dress. Okay, so that's the basics to tracing something right there. I'm going to go out and find another picture that's a little more complicated. I'm going to go back to my Internet Explorer and let's see what we can find here. So we're just going to put, let's try Wild Girl Vector. See what comes up. So even if, let's say if we just did this Stay Wild, okay? She does have some color in her. We're going to do the same thing. Snipping tool, click New, and select that area. I usually hold down my left mouse and then I select it with the right. I'm just going to select what I want. I don't have to select all of it. This window pops up for your snipping tool. Right click, copy, go to Silhouette, and you paste. Okay, so remember, she's just a flat piece of paper. She does nothing. Can't do anything with her. We have to trace her. So, butterfly or piece of toast, select the trace area window. So I'm just selecting simply the area I want to trace. Okay, so at this point, what do we want to do? See how her lips are not filled in? Uncheck the high pass filter. You'd notice it took a lot of this detail away. This is where like your threshold button is going to come into play. See how it starts to fill it in a little bit more? Gives you a little more to work with. And you just get to the point of what you like. If I do my scale here, it's just going to make it more granulated. I guess that's the word I was looking for earlier, is granulated. I don't want that. So now I'm going to hit just simply trace. Now when you look at this, you go, holy crap, what am I going to do with this? It's a horrible mess. The best thing to do is always fill it in. Always, always, always. Because that gives you an idea of how it's going to cut. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. Highlight your picture, go to your paint bucket, and change the color. So now doesn't she look a little more similar to you now? And I change my line color too, and I always make it the same color because I'm just OCD about that stuff. So when I go to cut this picture, this is exactly how she's going to cut. Okay? I want you to practice using basic pictures like this. Go out and find you some vectors of something that you want to cut. Like you could go back to the internet and you could even do something like this if you wanted to. You could type in, you can spell correctly. If you type in mermaid vectors, practice doing these, practice tracing them. Like these are great to trace because it's just a basic outline. And that's what you want, just something basic to start with, nothing that's too busy or too hard to do. Don't go busting out your pictures of your kids yet because you're not ready for that just yet. So you want to start small, start with something, and even this one may not be too bad to do. Something has a little bit of detail in there, okay? So if we did do her, I'll show you one more. Remember, I go to my snipping tool, and this only works if you have Design Edition. Remember that. Oh, wrong thing. Snipping tool, and I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to choose her. And remember, when you get to that point, you copy. Sorry, open up software. I didn't need to, didn't I? So, snipping tool, New, select all of her. Right click, copy, go to software, slap it right in there and paste her. Just that simple, okay? So now, whoops, if I can grab a hold of it, you can tell I'm getting tired today. Go back to the butterfly or the piece of toast with jelly on it. Select your trace area, right? And see, you can make it bigger, like if you didn't get it all in there, you can do that. Like I didn't get all of her hair, so make it a little bit bigger. And then I simply, see she won't fill in all the way, so uncheck that. that nasty high pass filter button and hit trace. And then you move your picture out of the way, click on your paint button to always fill her in. And this is exactly what she looked like. Now she's actually going to do something. So basically these are just colored pieces of paper right here. So somebody has went in and drawn this picture, but you can't do anything with it until you actually trace the picture. Okay, so that is the very basics of tracing. I want you to practice. You can go out and find these pictures. I looked up the little black dress vector, and I looked up the wild girl vector, and then I looked up a mermaid vector. Those are the ones you can go out and look at to see if you can trace some of these. Okay, basic tracing. That's all you're getting, and I'll do another video on how to edit some of the points on these. Like this blue girl right here, we're going to have to edit quite a few things on her. And I'm going to use these same examples. We're just going to pick up where we left off. So if you guys have any questions, you can always get a hold of me on Facebook. You can post a question on the page or in our group, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Or you can message me if you are not comfortable posting your questions there. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.